Okay, we still have 5 minutes, so I'll give everybody time to get in. All right, great. All three of y'all took your attendance. Perfect. Good morning, Astrid. Go ahead and pull up your Google slide and take your attendance. Good morning, y'all. Please make sure you pull up your Google slide, take attendance. We have a couple more minutes, and then have your notes ready. Astrid, I don't think you ever got your notes, right? So you haven't been here? You can type in the chat. I'm pretty sure you haven't, but you've been doing a good job of putting it on paper, so just make sure you keep doing that. Okay. If you would prefer, I could figure out a way to get to school and get them to you. Do you prefer to have them, or do you prefer to do it on paper? Okay. All right. If that works for you, that's fine. It may be a little harder with the graphing ones for today, but just do the best you can. Okay. Astrid, just make sure you take attendance on the Google form. Everybody else, I think I have it. Thank you all for being here, being on time, getting your attendance done quick. Have those that note packet out that I gave you the week before we went out on break. I gave it to you. Oh, Astrid, I got your attendance. I'm actually going to present my screen so you can see what it should look like. Present this one. Turn it back to the beginning. All right, that should look like that. You should be able to see my smartboard. All right, it's 9:55. This is when class is supposed to start, but this is the first day, so I'm going to give everybody a a couple minute leeway. Please make sure you're on time because I really need to be starting right at 9:55. I know today this is all new. For you guys, though, it's going to be pretty easy because you've been doing it on Fridays. So you guys kind of are used to it, which is really nice. So let's give everyone a few more seconds to get in, pull up their attendance, take their attendance, and get their notes ready, and then we'll begin.
We did.
Sammy, just make sure you take attendance. Wait 2 more minutes for some people. Everyone should be able to see my Smartboard file, and we're starting with the packet of notes that I gave you the week before we went out on break, which was like the week of the 14th to the 18th. It said system of equations. And we're going to start with the graphing. All right, y'all, it's 10 o'clock, so we're going to get started. Thank you all for being here, being on time, taking your attendance right away. Does everyone have their packet? You can either unmute yourself or type in the chat if you need. Okay, because that packet is what we're going to be using this whole 2 weeks. Remember, you are expected, in case you don't know this or didn't get the email, that I sent out and Mr. Pennell sent out, you are expected every single day to be on Google Meets. So that's 5 days a week. You'll be on the whole entire time. We'll have our lesson that we'll do together. I'll do it on my smartboard while you'll do it on your packet that you have at home. And then there'll be some problems that you'll try on your own. And then you'll upload pictures of it. And we'll talk about if you're correct, you can go. If you're not, you'll stay and fix it. Sometimes there'll be quizzes. Sometimes there'll be Kahoots. It just really depends. Every day will be something different. But you are expected every single day for the whole entire class time. Anybody have any questions about that? And remember, what I do on my smartboard, you're going to do on your paper because you're going to be expected to upload pictures of your work to assure that you're doing it and comprehending what's going on. Anybody have any questions before I begin? All right, before I begin, you may also want to have your Desmos calculator up, which I have right here. You may want to split your screen. You want the graphing calculator up. We're going to use that for a couple things in a little bit. Okay. All right, so the very first page of your packet, does everybody see that page? All right, we are going to talk about systems of equations. Systems of equations are two or more equations with the same variables. So you have x's and y's. And it makes an equation, so you have an equal sign. And there's going to be two of those equations. The solution to a system of equations, if they intersect, it's one solution. Okay, so there's three different things that could happen. They could intersect to give you one solution. They could, let me go on to the next. They could intersect to give you one solution, which would be an ordered pair. Give me 1 sec, y'all. My kid has a question. Yes?
I just don't understand what it says for my slides.
From Miss Adams? Tell her. Okay, because I can't help you right now. Okay, sorry, guys. My own kids are doing their work too. All right, so intersecting lines have one solution, which you would write that solution. You'd write that ordered pair. Parallel lines never touch, so there's no solution. Or the same line is literally one line on top of the other, and they have infinite solutions. Okay, which means every single solution is an answer to these equations. All right, so let me show you how to do it graphically. Remember, a couple things to keep in mind. I am at home, so I'm not using my smartboard. I'm using a little pad to write on with my computer. It's new to me, so I'm learning it also, so just keep that in mind. And also, if I go too fast, just someone either unmute themselves and tell me or type in the chat. Sometimes the chat doesn't ding for me. So you may have to unmute yourself and tell me. It's hard for me to know how fast I'm going, if I'm going too fast or too slow when you guys are not in front of me. Okay, so I'll do the best I can. All right, so when we have systems, these three things can occur. They're either going to intersect at one solution, they're going to be parallel, they never touch, no solution, or they're going to be the same line, which means they have infinite solutions. All right. All right, so solving systems by graphing. In order to solve our systems by graphing, which is what we're going to do today, we want to rewrite the equations in slope-intercept form. Remember, slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. And the two important things you need to know there are your m, which is your slope. It's going to give you a rise over a run, and your b, which is your y-intercept. Once you know those things, you can go to step 2, which is graph the line. And then after you graph the lines, because there's 2 of them, you can identify the solution, whether it's one solution no solution, or infinite solutions. Okay, most important thing though is it's got to be in slope-intercept form. All right, so take a sec to get that down, and then we'll go look at the problems that we need to get started on. So as with a lot of things that we do, a lot of it you have to know how to do by hand, but you can also check yourself on your graphing calculator. So make sure you have that graphing calculator up as well, because we'll look at that after we do a couple problems. All right, so let's go to question number 1. All right, if we look at question number 1, the first step is to rewrite in slope-intercept form. So look at this first one. Is that in slope-intercept form? It is. So let's identify what's your slope, what's your y-intercept. Remember, your slope is your coefficient in front of x. What's the number in front of x? If I don't see it, it's a 1. How do I make that a fraction? To make anything a fraction, I put it over 1. What's your y-intercept? Your b value, your number at the end. It's -8. Okay, so that one's in slope-intercept form. I'm good to go on that one. The second one, is that in slope-intercept form? It is. So identify your m and your b. So my slope, my coefficient in front of x is -2. Oops. Make it a fraction by putting it over 1. And my y-intercept, my b value at the end is +1. All right, now we're ready to graph them since step 1 is done. They're already in slope-intercept form. So I'm going to graph this very first one. Start at your y-intercept. So start at -8. And make sure that's exactly right. And then do your slope. The one in the rise of the slope tells you to go up 1. The one in the run tells you to go right 1. So up 1, right 1. Up 1, right 1. Up 1, right 1. Remember, I do this a ton of times until I get off the graph. So it looks to me like I can do this one a lot. And this is not new to you, this part. And then do the opposite. Down 1, left 1. Down 1, left 1. Go ahead and draw your line. It's a little bit harder for me to make it very straight, so I'm going to do the best I can. They're pretty good there. All right, so I've graphed my first one. Now let's go ahead and graph my second one. All right, remember, you start at your y-intercept. So start at 1 on the y-axis. And then do your slope. The -2 in the rise tells me to go down 2. The +1 tells me to go right 1. So down 2, right 1. Do that a bunch. Down 2, right 1. Uh-oh. Looks like they touch. Down 2, right 1. Down 2, right 1. And then go do the opposite. Up 2, left 1. Up 2, left 1. Up 2, left 1. Up 2, left 1. And go ahead and make your straight line. We'll do the best I can. Now, what do these lines do? Do they intersect? Are they parallel? Or are they the same exact line? And it looks to me like they intersect. Intersecting lines have one solution. So my answer would be one solution. And what is that one solution? Right here, what's that ordered pair? What's the x value? What's the y value? 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, -5. So 3 is the x and -5 is the y. So this is the only ordered pair that would make both of these equations true. Anybody have any questions so far? I'm going to show you how to check that on your calculator. Okay, so if you grab your Desmos calculator, figure out what I was doing with the other class. All right, as long as they're in slope-intercept form, when you're graphing, you're ready to put it in. So put in the first one and then put in the second one. All right, so I see them, but let me go ahead. All right, I see them. I can tell they intersect. Looks very similar to mine. It's even the same colors. That's not coincidence there. I didn't plan that. So I can see they intersect. They have one solution. And if you put your cursor on that, it tells you what the answer is. And that's the exact answer that I got. Remember also, as long as they're in slope-intercept form, if you go to your setting wheel, you can get a table for each one, and you can get some points to graph them. Okay? All right. Any questions? All right, we do have to know how to do them by hand also, but we can always check ourselves on our calculator. All right, let's go to question number 2. All right, question number 2. Remember, the first step is you want to make sure, whoops. There we go. You want to make sure they're in slope-intercept form. Is this first one in slope-intercept form? It is. So identify your M and identify your B. What is your slope? What's the coefficient in front of X? It's 1/2. What's your B? Your y-intercept, the number at the end, is +9. Let me check the other equation first before I go ahead and graph. Is this second equation in slope-intercept form? It is. So I'm ready to graph it once I identify my slope and I identify my y-intercept. So my slope is my coefficient in front of X, which that would be -1. Your y-intercept, your B value, is 6. All right, so let's graph. Now, step 2 is to graph each one. So let's graph the first one. The first one's y-intercept is 9. Put a dot at 9 on the y-axis. Now remember, we do our slope. The rise tells me to go up 1. The run tells me to go right 2. And I can't do it anymore. But can I do the opposite? Down 1, left 2. 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 And I've made as many points as possible, and I will do my best to make it a straight line. Put my arrows at the end to show that the line keeps going. I only can see part of it. All right, now we're ready to graph the second one. The y-intercept is 6. So on the y-axis, put a dot at 6. Your slope is -1. Make it a fraction. Have a rise over run, -1/1. All right, so that means the rise means I go down 1, right 1. Down 1, right 1. Ooh, I can do this a lot. So down 1, right 1 a lot of times until I hit the end. And then do the opposite. Up 1, left 1. Up, whoops. Up 1, left 1. Ooh, they touch. Up 1, left 1. And up 1, left 1. Do your best to make that as straight as possible. Still learning how to be perfectly straight with this. Sorry, y'all. See, sometimes it doesn't stop either. All right, and put arrows at the end to show that your line keeps going. I can only see a portion of it. So we have to ask ourselves, what do these two lines do? Do they intersect? Are they parallel? Or are they the same line? Looks to me like they intersect. and they intersect right here. Intersecting lines have one solution. Okay, what is that one solution? What is that ordered pair? So it looks to me like x is -2 and y is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that one solution where they intersect is -2, 8. And that ordered pair, -2, 8, that's supposed to say. All right, and that ordered pair is the answer to these two equations. That is the only ordered pair that will make both of these equations true. So remember, I could go to my graphing calculator as well, and as long as they're, when I'm graphing, as long as they're in slope-intercept form, I can type each one in. Oops. All right, and it looks very similar to the one I have on here. I can see they intersect. If I put my cursor on that, I also can see it has the same exact answer that I have over here. All right, so a good way to check yourself. All right, anybody have any questions so far? All right, we are going to go to number 3. Actually, we're going to skip number 3. We're going to go to number 4. All right, so let's go to number 4. All right, look at number 4. Remember, the first thing you want to do is to make sure they're in slope-intercept form. Is this first one in slope-intercept form? It's not. So we have to do a little bit of work to get it in slope-intercept form. Remember, the good thing is we've done a lot of this work already getting it in slope-intercept form, and you guys are really good at it. So let's get y by itself. I cannot touch the positive 2y until I get rid of that 1x. How do I get rid of the 1x? Well, I subtract the 1x from both sides. Remember, keep an equation balanced. What you do to one side, you do to the other. So 2y equals, when I rewrite this other side, the x part comes first. So -1x, and that is a positive 4. To finish getting y by itself, divide everything by 2. So y equals, see if you can reduce anything. -1/2, I can't reduce that, so leave it as -1/2, put x on the end. Positive 4 divided by 2 is +2. So you are in slope-intercept form. What is your slope? What's your y-intercept? Remember, your slope is your coefficient in front of x. That would be -1/2. And your y-intercept, your constant number at the end, would be +2. So we're ready to graph that one in a second. Let's look at that second one and make sure it's in slope-intercept form as well. So look at this second one. Is that in slope-intercept form? It is. All right, so if it is, I can identify everything before I graph it. So my slope is my coefficient in front of x. That is -1/2. And my y-intercept is my constant number at the end, which is 2. Anybody notice anything right now? Hopefully you do, but we'll see what happens. All right, let's graph the first one. The y-intercept is 2, so start at 2. And then do your slope. The -1 in the rise tells you to go down 1. The +2 in the run tells you to go right 2. So down 1, right 2. And do that a ton of times till you get off the graph. Down 1, right 2. Down 1, right 2. And then go back to where you started. Do the opposite. Up 1, left 2. Up 1, left 2. All right, I've done it as much as I possibly can, so I'm going to do the best I can to make a straight line here. Oh, Lord, oh, Lord. Sorry, y'all. You're probably laughing at me, but I don't know what happens sometimes on this. I'm still learning the tricks of it. Let's see if I can get that straighter. There we go. And then put arrows at the end to show that that line keeps going on. I've only shown a portion of it. All right, let's graph the second one. The y-intercept on the second one is 2. Oh, same y-intercept. The slope is -1/2. The -1 in the rise tells you to go down 1. The +2 tells you to go right 2. Uh-oh. Down 1, right 2. What's happening? It literally is the same line. If I go up 1, left 2, it's the same thing. So it literally would be right on top of it. So they touch. Whoops. Stop. All right, so they touch at every, I'm not even touching on this one. I don't know why I did that. They touch at every single point there. So they're the same line. The same line has infinite. I'm sorry, y'all. This is. All right, now my pen is just going crazy. I'm going to have to try to do it. Okay, so your answer is infinite solutions. They're the same line. Infinite solutions means every single ordered pair will make both of these equations true since they touch at every single same exact ordered pair. All right, so we've seen lines that intersect and give you one solution. We've seen lines that are the same line and give you infinite solutions, which means every ordered pair would work. Now let's try something different. We're going to skip number 5. Oh, actually, before we go to number 5, let's check ourselves on our calculator. Remember, as long as they're in slope-intercept form, they're ready to be graphed. So this right here was the first one in slope-intercept form. Oops. All right, and then that other one was already in slope-intercept form, so I'm ready to put that one in. And you can tell they're the same exact line. They're on top of each other. I only see one. Okay, so the same line has infinite solutions. All right, we are going to skip question number 5, and we are going to jump to question number 6. Does anybody have any questions? No one's typed in the chat yet. No one's unmuted themselves. Let me know if you do, okay? All right, let's skip 5 and let's jump to 6. All right, I'm going to try the best I can with this little tablet I'm writing on. If not, I'll jump to my computer screen. It's getting a little funny here. All right, so the first step in order to graph them, to graph our systems, is to make sure they're in slope-intercept form. Is this first one in slope-intercept form? It is. So identify your M and your B. My slope, my coefficient in front of X. Remember, if I don't see it, it's 1. To make anything a fraction, put it over a 1. So I have my rise over run. My y-intercept, my constant at the end, is +5. So that one's ready to go. Let's check the second one. Is this second one in slope-intercept form? It's not. So I'm going to go to the side right here. And I'm going to get it with y by itself. What kind of y is that? the negative 1y. I cannot touch negative 1y until I get rid of the x. Remember, that's a positive 1x. So I have to subtract 1x to get it to the other side. So I'm left with negative 1y. Remember, when I rewrite this, I put the x part first. So negative 1x. And this is a positive 2. Now finish getting y by itself. Divide everything by negative 1. And then reduce if you can. Negative 1 divided by negative 1 is a positive 1x. And 2 divided by negative 1 is negative 2. All right, so I'm going to cross this one off because it's now this. All right, my slope is what? 1, and make it a fraction by putting it over 1. And my y-intercept, whoops, is negative 2. All right, so I've got them both in slope-intercept form. I'm ready to graph them. Let's graph that first one. The y-intercept is 5. So put a dot on the y-axis at 5. And then the slope is rise up 1, run right 1. So up 1, right 1, a bunch of times, as much as you can. All right, then down 1, left 1.
Mine got 1,000.
All right, I could do that a lot. I'm going to make the best I can, make a straight line. You guys can probably make these straight lines better because you have your paper right in front of you. See how it just goes on and on and on. Doesn't want to stop. Sorry, guys, this is getting a little annoying. All right, so I graph that line. Gonna make sure. Oops. Oh my gosh. Sorry, guys. All right, I'm going to use my computer because this is, remember, make sure you put your arrows at the end to show that that line keeps going on. All right, now I'm ready to graph the green line. So the y-intercept is negative 2. And the slope, it looks to me like the slope is the same. So it's rise up 1, run right 1. So upright, 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 up 1, right 1, up 1, right 1, up 1, right 1, up 1, right 1, up 1, right 1. I could do that quite a few times. And then go down 1, left 1. And what do you notice? Oops. Come back to this little tablet. All right, make your line. Try it as straight as you possibly Sorry, y'all. I'm having some technical issues here. We're almost done. Good thing. All right, so I'm going to make my straight line here. All right, so what do you notice about these lines? Hopefully your lines are a lot straighter than mine. I'm having difficulty with my computer. So what do you notice? Do these lines intersect? Are they parallel? Or are they the same exact line? Looks to me like they are parallel. And parallel lines never touch. So they have no solution. Notice their slopes were the same. All parallel lines are going to have the same slope. And they'll always have no solution. There is no ordered pair where they touch. All right. What questions do we have so far? All right, I'm going to stop sharing this screen and I'm going to go to sharing another screen. All right, so those are the problems that we're doing together. I want you to go ahead to your Google slide for today and let's see what problems you're going to do on your own. All right, so if you go to slide 4 on today's Google Slides, which I don't see many of you on here, so hopefully you're pulling it up. All right, slide 4 for today. It says we're going to do the notes together. We decided not to do number 3, so I'm going to take number 3 out of there. We did 1, 2, 4, and 6 together. You guys are going to do 5, 7, and 8. So circle 5, 7, and 8 on your paper. You're going to do that yourself. You can use your Desmos calculator to check yourself. And we're going to stay on our Google Meets until the end of class, which is 11:25. When you are done with these 3 problems, you're going to turn it in to the assignment on Google Classroom, and then I will check. So you can either unmute yourself or type in the chat for me to check. If you're correct, I'll let you go. If you're not, I'll help you and we'll figure it out. Okay, so you're going to use this time now to ask me questions. I can go into a separate room with you, into a separate Google Meet with you to help you if you need. You have those 3 questions left. I'll stop sharing my screen. So does anyone have any questions? So everyone right now is going to work on 5, 7, and 8. No one is allowed to leave until the end of class or until I tell you to do so. Okay? All right, work on 5, 7, and 8. Let me know if you have any questions. I'm going to be on here. Okay, Jonathan just asked, what if the equation only has a slope? What question is that for, Jonathan? Oh, okay. Let's go look at number 5 really quick. Everybody go look at number 5. Let me present my screen really quick. Jonathan's asking a really good question. Thank you for bringing that up, Jonathan. All right, so let's go back to number 5. All right, so Jonathan said, what if the equation only has a y-intercept? So I'm assuming he's referring to this right here. So what is your slope? What is your y-intercept? It has a slope, but you just have to remember what your slope is. So your slope, why don't I see x? Why did x disappear? I see the b part. I see the constant number, so I know b is -7. But for some reason, x is not there. So what was the coefficient in front of x that made x disappear? Think about that. Does anyone know what was the coefficient in front of x that made x disappear? Anybody know? It's 0. Because 0 times x equals 0, so that whole entire thing disappeared, and I'm just left with the y-intercept. So go to your graph, -7 on the y-axis. Right here. So remember, a 0 slope is a horizontal line. So y equals -7 over here. X changes, but y still is -7. Same thing over here. So there's no rise or run. So that line would look just like that. Okay, good question, Jonathan. So I got you guys started on number 5. It looks to me like this first equation does not have y by itself. So you need to get it in slope-intercept form yourself. All right, y'all work on that. Type in the chat or unmute yourself if you have a question. Kendall, I'm going to show you really quick, okay? All right, so if you go to number 8, x equals -2. Remember, x equals -2 is right here. Where else does x equal -2? If I go up here, x is -2. Y has changed, but x is still -2. Did I take myself off? Yes, I did. Okay, sorry. I'm making sure I'm not on it. If I go down, put a dot right here, x is still -2. Y has changed. So remember, when x equals a number, it makes you have a vertical line at that number. Okay, and then it looks like the second one, it looks like you're going to have to do some work to get it in slope intercept form. Okay, so go from there. Let me know if you need any more help. Okay, Jonathan and Kendall, I sent it back to you. Mia, what number are you having trouble with?
It was a watermelon.
It was a watermelon. I like how you figured that out all by yourself, sweetheart. Good job. Okay, there was one last thing we need. Actually, it was the very first thing that we needed.
Okay, well, Mia, the first issue was I did part of number 5 with you, so I was struggling to understand how you didn't get that. So let me go back to number 5. I'm going to present my screen.
What's it?
I don't think that's probably okay. So for your writing and
Okay, so let me look at your question really quick. Okay, so Mia, okay, Mia, your problem is you graphed the first question perfectly. The problem is the second question, and this is the one I did with you. Remember, y equals -7. Where does y equal -7? I go put a dot at -7 on the y-axis. We talked about when I did this with you, because Johnny asked this question, we talked about, why don't I see the x? What's the number in front of x? Well, that was a 0, which made the x disappear. So remember, a 0 slope has a horizontal line, so that's why I made the line right here for that second equation. You did the first equation beautifully. You had everything correct there. It was your second question there. So fix number 5, Mia, and then I'll look at your number 7. Mia, the problem with 7 and 8 is I don't see your work as to where you got them in slope-intercept form, so I can't really help you tell you where you went wrong if I don't see that. So once you're done with 5, let me know.
Okay, do we have to write this in? Peanut butter and jelly. Ah. Yeah. Ta-da!
Good.
Peanut.
well, T comes at the end, but what comes before that? N, right? N makes it. Yep, good. Peanut. Good. Good. Butter.
B.
B, very good. Very good. Good.
Peanut. I'm
Butter. And the what? Peanut butter.
done.
T.
Oh.
That's okay.
That's why I'm not focusing.
That's all right. Here. Erase that. Erase that. And I'm gonna write T.
Peanut.
Butter.
D. Like for Titi or Lisa.
Butter.
Oh, go on.
Right. All. Peanut butter. Jelly.
Yeah.
J.
Yeah.
J.
G.
J. J.
G.
J.
How do you know the J? Okay, that's
Question.
How do you do?
All right. Jelly. Jelly.
Marvel, I sent yours back to you. Kaden, I'm going to look at yours right now.
L. L. I just do
Peanut butter, jelly. Actually, would you draw your peanut butter jelly? How would you draw your peanut butter jelly? Put some colors in there.
close part. And then
Okay.
the peanut butter. And what does that mean?
Yeah, well,
Kaden,
That's my
yours is
favorite.
perfect. You may leave. Only Kaden may leave.
So I'm gonna go eat it.
but,
And
um,
Daddy, I'm gonna move what you remember what I'm gonna move.
yeah, so we're, say the next thing. Go through your alarms.
I keep on saying like, this is a lot lunch for you, for them, and I can't eat it.
Really?
Wait, for you and I are so money. I gotta, no, I'm going to cut this out and what will come out? Ice.
Yeah.
Ice.
Do you have to meet at 11? You have to meet at 11.
Huh? Daddy?
Okay, guys. It is 11:25, and that is the end of class. but there are a lot of us that have not finished our work or may need more help. Right now is my planning. So I can give you help for about a half hour if you need it. This is due by midnight, these 3 problems. So if you need more help and you need to stay on, then stay on. Okay, if you feel like you have no problem finishing it on your own, then you may leave. Mia, how are you? Did you get 5 done, Mia? Okay, are you on 7? Okay, I can't really tell you where you went wrong because I couldn't see your work to see how, because both of them on number 7, you have to get in slope intercept form. Okay, so if you want to send me some work to show me what you did, I could kind of lead you a little bit better there.
Yeah, maybe we should try whatever. Well, he doesn't know where he's supposed to be.
He's supposed to be in writing with Miss Oh, do you want me to look here?
Yeah, I don't know. He's got a seatbelt in here.
It's 11:25. Being a writer, he should be signing in there.
At what time?
11:25.
Okay. We'll run the batteries on it. What we can do?
He knew. He told me he had to get into writing.
I think he's supposed to be doing that with him. I think she's trying to get you to.
Yes.
You're supposed to be. I think she's trying to do a bill. Why don't you do that? What?
Can somebody help? Help. Can somebody help?
Brigham, 1 second. Okay, Amari, that's fine, but just make sure your work is in by midnight. If you have any other questions, you can email me and I could jump back on.
What game will you play? Okay.
So Mia, look at number 8, sweetie. Let me pull up number 8. Where's number 8? So for number 8, I also helped with that one. Do you remember when I helped with that one with the x equals -2? I'm going to present my screen right now to show you. Okay, so you got the x equals -2 part? Okay, so look at the second equation. The second equation says 3x minus 2y equals -18. Is that in slope-intercept form? Remember, slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. So I don't think that second one's in slope-intercept form, so you need to get that in slope-intercept form. Okay? Cooper, what's the matter, babe? Mia, you doing okay? And Gianni, do you need my help? Okay, that's fine, Gianni. You take your time and just let me know, Gianni. Mia, okay, I'll check right now. Let's see. Mia Sears. Okay, Mia, let's look at number 7, Mia. Wait. Actually, Mia, look at number 5. It looks to me like you have it graphed correctly, but you don't have your point correct. So let's go. I'm going to zoom in on your work. Yeah, you got your points switched up, it looks like, Mia. So I see exactly where they intersect. I'm zoomed in on your number 5. I see exactly where they intersect. So hopefully you can see that also. What is the X value there? Remember, that's quadrant 4 there, right? In quadrant 4, isn't your X value a positive and your Y value a negative? So go to that point again, go to your X and go to your Y and see what that number actually is, because you have it graphed perfectly. You just don't have the ordered pair correct. Remember, an ordered pair, X comes first and then Y. So if you can just type in the chat what you re-get for that. Very good. No, Mia. No, sorry. You're close, but sweetie, when you're in quadrant 4, those X values in quadrant 4 are what? Let me go over, let me present my screen. You're on number 5, okay. So Mia, you're in this quadrant right here. Can you see my screen? Okay, so you're in this quadrant. You have it graphed beautifully. But remember, in this quadrant, X are these values over here. These values for X on this side are positive. So X should be a positive number. Remember, X is always first. And then these values of Y down here are negative. Okay, so your X should be positive and your Y should be negative. So when you're at the origin, go over to whatever X you're at, and that will be a positive of that number. And then go down to whatever Y you're at, and that will be the negative of that number. So relook at that. Okay, Mia, I'm going to pull up your work, sweetie. Give me a second. All right, Mia, can you see your work right here for question number 5? Can you see that? You can. Okay, perfect. All right, I'm going away from the chat, so you would have to unmute yourself to tell me. All right, so if we look, they intersect right here at this point, right where my cursor is, okay? All right, so that means X is right over here. So I'm going to count backwards. Like I'm going this way, and I'm going to see what I'm at. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that means I went over 6. So X is positive 6. And then I go down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, negative 7. So X was positive 6 and Y was negative 7. Got that for number 5? Okay, I'm going to help you with number 7. All right, so for number 7, Mia. So the first equation, you subtracted 3x, beautiful. And then you divided by negative 5, and that still is all correct. But look what happened. Negative 3 divided by negative 5. A negative divided by a negative is a positive. So your slope should be positive 3 over 5. Your y-intercept, negative 35 divided by negative 5, very good, is positive 7. That's perfect. Okay, so you just had to fix that slope, and you had the y-intercept correct. Let's look at the graph of this one before we move on. Okay, if the y-intercept is positive 7, I should cross the y-axis at positive 7, which is somewhere up here, right? And then the 3 tells me to go up 3, and the 5 tells me to go right 5. So you should be up here somewhere. Okay, before you go fix it, let's look at the second one. So the second equation, you subtracted 2x, which was perfect, and you have the correct slope and the correct y-intercept. Now let me show you what I think you did wrong on the second one. So you start at negative 6. So negative 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The negative 2 tells me to go down 2 and right 1. Down 2, right 1. So you had this part right, but when you went and graphed it, it was wrong. Okay. All right, so that's what's wrong with number 7. You can fix that in 1 minute. Let me show you something with number 8. So number 8, you graphed it beautifully, but it's your point that's wrong, sweetie. 6, 2, if x is positive 6, 5, 6, and y is positive 2, that would be right here in quadrant 1. That's not right there, okay? So the point right here where they intersect, think about this quadrant. It's quadrant 2. The x's on this side are negative and the y's are positive. Okay, so if you start at the origin, go to the left first for your x. -2 is my x. And I go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So -2, 6 should be my answer for number 8. Okay, so you got to be really careful. You're doing great at graphing it, getting it in slope-intercept form, but you're making silly mistakes on your getting your points. Okay? All right, so remember, all you got to fix on number 7 and then just that little piece on number 8. No problem, Mia. Just let me know. I have like 5 minutes to stay on here and then I got to get off, okay? So I'll check on you in 5 minutes and we'll see. All right, y'all, I got to get going. So great job working hard. Let me know if you have any more questions. You can email me and I'll help you. Okay? I'll see y'all tomorrow. Or if not, if you need help later, I could always jump back on. Just email me. All right. Bye, guys.